Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to FX Maniac. Again, this is Syed Mahmoud Amiri and yet another Maya tutorial after a very long time, and you guys have been asking about it. So I thought of doing some Maya tutorials and let's see how it goes. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to model a couch, a sofa, a Chesterfield model. So there's a lot of tutorials online about this, but I'm actually going to show you guys a very simple way to do it. So yeah, hopefully it'll be easy and fun to learn. So this is the Maya final scene that we've created here. And then if I go to Photoshop, I have a rendered version of this, which is looking pretty cool. Then I'm going to model this and then texture it and light it using Arnold. So hopefully we'll be learning a lot today. So let's get started with this tutorial. So I'm going to create a new scene, and this is my first modeling tutorial, so let's see how it goes. I'm going to show you guys a very simple way to do it. So I'm just going to create a plane first, and then I'm going to go and add one segment and then move this up, and then I'm going to select this face and go into edit mesh poke, which is going to kind of connect the faces, and it's going to create a vertex in the center. I'm going to shift right click chamfer and maybe like 0.5 or maybe 0.4, 0.35. That's okay. And then I'm going to select this polygon and hold down shift and drag it down to extrude. This is actually in Maya 2020, which you can do this. I'm not sure about 2019 or 18, but in 2020 you can do this. And then what I'm gonna do is just move this deeper a little bit. Depends on how deep you want it, but it's okay. And then I'm going to double click on this edge, shift double click on this one, and shift double click on that one and on that one. And we're basically going to right click and bevel these edges. So I'm gonna probably change it to like 0.35 again. And then I'm going to select all these edges, select one and shift double click, select this one and this one, and then I'm going to shift drag this down too, so we get some extrusion. And then if I hit 3, you can see that we've got some nice sort of looking effect here, which is not nice now, but once we create all of them, it'll look pretty nice. So then I'm just going to leave it like this, or you can just even go ahead and extrude it one more level, so just to create a little bit of a detail inside, but I would say, this is fine. And then the next time I'm going to do, I'm just going to basically scale this down, and I'm going to move it here, and then I'll hit D for the anchor point or for the pivot point, and then hit V. Press V to move it to the object's vertex on the left. And then I'm just going to Control D this and hit V and move it so that it snaps to the other object, and then Shift D to copy to repeat the action. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them and mesh combine. And from the top view, I would say, I'm just going to select all of these vertices, and I'm gonna just go into shift right click, merge vertices, and I'm gonna increase it until they're welded together. And we're just gonna do the same thing here, increase it. Yeah, so you just wanna merge them together, so maybe like 0.5 would be okay. And then for the last one too, we're just going to hit G and then 0.5. So that's basically what it's going to do now. Is it's going to create this really cool sort of effect. And then the same thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to move it up. Make sure you move the pivot point to the hit V and move it to the hit D and then V. Move it to this vertex, so it's right on the edge. And then what I'm going to do is just Control D and hit V to snap it here, and then Shift D and create a couple of copies. So that's basically it. And then I'm going to combine all of them, go to Mesh, Combine, and again from the top view I would just select all of these verts, all of them, then hit Merge to merge them all together, maybe yeah, like 0.3 is fine, I would say. And then the same thing for this one. You know, this method is actually pretty fast. So like, you know, it's very like you create one and then you duplicate it, you know, and then it's gonna make life a lot more easier than if you have to do it from like all and then selecting them. I've done this a few different ways, and I've tried a few different ways, but this is the most easiest method that I've found to do this effect. So this is basically it, and then we are done. So here's our Chesterfield pattern that we've created. So now what I can do is I can just like lay him on a couch and stuff, and then the other thing I can do is I don't want it to be like this much, so I can just delete like this much, which is simple. If I hit 1, I can just go here and delete, so there's no problem, and here is our effect. So the thing is, I'm going to add some, you know, some spheres on here. So I'm just going to shift, right click and sphere, and then I'm gonna, you can do one thing, you can hit Control 1 and delete the bottom half, so it doesn't, I mean, save a bit of a poly, but it's okay. What I'm going to do is go into the top view and just move it up a little bit, fit it into one of these, and then what you can do is you can just Control D and duplicate it here, Shift D to copy it over, and then I'm going to select all of this, select this one, Control D, move it down, Shift D to copy it again. So they're fine, but they're just a little bit at the top, so I'm just going to move this down to be able to fit this inside those things. And that's basically it. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to merge them all together, combine, and this is our effect. So now I'm going to model a simple like couch and then put it there, and then how to like lay it over to the different sides. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a simple couch object. So I'm going to create a cube, scale it up, and just give it the shape of a general sort of couch or a sofa. And the thing is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select edges, and then I'll just Control right click, edge ring, utilities, edge ring and split, and then shift right click to bevel it, and then just move it to the edges. I'll do the same thing here and shift right click, bevel, and I think this much is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these faces, hit Q, and move them up. Hold down Shift and extrude it. So I got this general shape of a couch, and it depends on how high you want it, but I think this is fine. And I need to have some support edges to be able to hold the shape. So I'm going to edge, shift right click, select one edge actually, select one edge, and then insert edge loop tool, add one here, add one here, and we'll go the same to this side, and on the top and the bottom, and here, one here, and one on these sides. So if I hit 3 now, you can basically see that we've got a couch, sort of a general shape. So the thing I want to do right now is I want to lay down this onto here. So I think I need to make it a bit smaller because that is too big, or whatever you want, but I think, let's see here, if I fit this here, I think it will look a bit large, actually very large. Don't want to be sitting on that. Actually, it will be more comfortable to sit on that, but you can do one thing, you can make it small and take another copy, maybe like this much. And what I'll do is I'll just basically Control D this again like the last time, and then just put it here, shift, right click, combine it, and I'm going to merge these verts, shift right click, merge, and hit 3. That's it. And then I'm going to take one more copy to the bottom, and then shift select mesh combine, and I am going to I'm going to select all of these. Let's make sure to select all of them. Actually, yeah, and then shift right click merge, and before we do that, we're going to increase the number. So this is basically it. So now if I go hit Control 1 again, so now I can just like move this here, so it's now a bit better, I would say. I'm just going to copy this over and scale it up so it fits nicely. And the other thing that I'm going to do is, you can see that it's not sitting properly on the couch, so I'm just going to move this down. And you can see that this part is actually, we can just rotate a little bit. Or the thing I did was I actually used a deformed lattice, so you can go ahead and increase the points, FFD points, or if you hit Control A, go to shape, then you can add some divisions along whichever axis you want. So I'm just going to add 1, or maybe just that is fine. And then the thing I can do is I can just select it, go ahead, go closer, select this, right click, lattice point, and select these points. You can't see them, but it's there. You can just move them up a little bit, so it just, you know, you can just edit the shape generally. So yeah, and then I can select these ones on the edge, Control Z, and then I can just move them down so that it kind of like fits onto the couch. So this is a cool way of doing it. And then you know, I'm just going to edit, delete by type, actually delete by type history to delete that, and it's sitting and fitting perfectly. And the other thing is I can just go ahead, Control D this, and rotate it. Hit J, press J to be able to snap, and then I can just move it backwards. And the other thing is you want to make sure to follow this pattern of this object. And by the pattern, what I mean is you go ahead and you put it in a way where, see here we have a button, right? Make sure you have a soft point and not a button, which will not fit nicely. So what I'm going to do is just, yeah, I think that is okay. Just move it and it's fine, but again I think we need an FFD for this one too. Actually I'm just going to need to move this down a little bit. It's okay, you can fit it nicely, but we need to bring these out. So I'm going to have a deformed lattice again, go into the shape and add some points. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these points and these points on both sides, Control 1 again, and I'm just going to bring them in, not like so much, but yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then we can just select the object and go edit, delete by type history, and then we need to put it on the sides too. So I'm going to Control D and rotate it, hit J, press J to be able to snap it like 90 degrees and move it. And we need to make it small, and I think we need to rotate it like this too. So just, yeah, scale it down so that you can fit it nicely on the edge of the object. So, and I think I'm probably gonna just move this, and I think we'll need some FFD for this too. So I'm just going to bring it here, not like that much. It's fine, but the edges are not like fitting nicely. We can just rotate a little bit, just move it. I know it's not a good way to do this, but it's just like kind of like the fastest way. So what I'm going to do is I need to apply another FFD, sorry, lattice, then going to FFD divisions, add like some points here, maybe 12. And then what I'm going to do is select this lattice, and then right click lattice point, select this, just move it in so that we get the effect. Not like that much, but here I think we've moved it in a little bit too much on this, so just move it back a little bit. Yeah, and some weird problems are happening here, so let's see here. Just move this. We need to add a point here too. We can't do it right now because we've edited the shape, so just probably going to, where's the other point? I'm just going to solo this with this. So we need to select all the points. I think I'm just going to delete this once, and I'll add one more time. And I need some more detail on this, so maybe this much, and then add some here. Yeah, so now I can select the lattice, and then I go lattice points, and then I can just select these three. Like the more you have, the more it's going to be better, but the harder it is going to be to control. So just make sure that it is fitting nicely, just like this. Just move it. And just move it in a little bit. I think we are okay with this. I just think so. It's here. The one, yeah, if I hide this, hit H, you can see that it's not okay on these ends. So what I'm going to do is go in here and unhide the lattice, hit H, Control 1, select this and the object, Control 1, and select these points, like these side points. Make sure you're not selecting any points that you don't want. Control 1 again, and just move it forward a little bit so that we can get the detail out of it. So just like, I know it's not a really good way to do it. We get some issues here, but just to kind of, you know, you can just edit it, and then I'll just select this object, go to delete by type history. It's looking pretty weird at the side, but I'm sure you can fix it on your own sort of way. But this is how you would fix it, right? So I'm just going to move it in a little bit more. Just not that much. That's fine. And I'm probably gonna, we forgot to do it on this end too, which we can just scale this one out, right? Or probably gonna add another lattice. So it's getting, I know it's getting boring, but this, like, I'm just showing you guys like a real way, like I'm not skipping anything, just showing you the real-time progress. So make it like 8, and then I'm going to select this lattice point, select these, and then just bring them in a little bit, right? So that's how much I would do for this. I'm just done with this. So just go ahead, delete history, and just duplicate this, rotate it, shift like this, move it here. I think it's flipped, right? So you'll get, or you can, what you can do is just select this, select it, and then hit mirror, right click, mirror on the X direction, and increase the offset. Yeah, that's Control Z. That is actually fine. So it's okay. You can still edit it like the way I did using FFDs and stuff, but I would just leave it like this much, right? So you get the idea here. So here's our thing, our effect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a texture. You can fix these places, or you can just like select. I'm just going to Control 1 this object, just like these verts. Just bring them forward a little bit so you can't see those parts. Control 1 again, and I think that is okay. So I know I'm doing some lazy work here, but you get the idea, like how to fix it. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, if you see in this Photoshop image, I've added some creases here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, double click on this one, shift double click on this one, same on this side, or wherever you want to add some crease. You will just go ahead and you would shift right click, bevel, and this much, and then select these faces, shift double click to select all the way around, select one, the next one, and then just go ahead, this one and this one, and I'm going to extrude them down. Actually, you can just scale them, shift and scale, not like that. I can just hit Control E, set this to 1, and not so much of an extrusion, maybe like this much. And then if I hit 3, you can see that smooth, crease there. Or if you want it to be a bit sharp, you can just go ahead, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I've selected this, and then I'm going to extrude it and then bring it down. But what you can do is you can actually add some divisions to make it, a bit more sharper. So that's it. So now let's get on to the texturing part. So you do need a texture for this, which I can go ahead to Google. I actually have a leather texture. You can just save this. So I've saved this image, and then I'm going to go into Maya, and I'm gonna be using Arnold. So what I can do is I'll just select everything. Actually, I need to group or merge these objects, combine them together, and then I'm just going to select one object, right click, assign new material, and I'm gonna go into shader, AI standard surface, and then right click again, go to material attributes. In the color, I'm just gonna add a file, which will just load it, which is here. So I'm just going to bring it, and then hit 6 to see the textures. You can actually see it's not fitting properly, so I'm just going to be doing some lazy UV. So I'm just going to do camera based, and that's basically the best UV you will ever get. And then I'm just going to the material attributes, and then we go here, place 2D texture, and I'm going to repeat this to maybe like 10 by 10. So I'll get this sort of a look, which is pretty cool, I would say. And then I'm just going to select this and apply the same existing AI standard surface material. So that is it. Voila! It's looking pretty cool. So the thing is, we don't actually need UVs for this, or maybe we do. So I'm just going to go camera based, and I think it would fit very nicely onto these objects. So yeah, that's really cool. I mean, we're getting like microscopic detail on this, so it's looking pretty cool. And then finally, I'm just going to add a plane, and I will scale this up. Sorry. And then I'm going to add a I'll just go here, make it seamless, decrease all the points, just select these two edges, hold down shift and extrude it, and I'm going to select these two, and I'm bevel this, and maybe like this much. Yeah, make it big, very big, then make sure it's here so that our couch is sitting on a flat surface like this. This is what I want. And then I'm going to add a Arnold light, sky dome light, and I can go into the renderer, change it to Arnold, and click on the IPR so we can get an idea of what's going on here. Okay, it's looking pretty good actually, except for these parts which you can actually fix yourself. But rather than that, it's actually really nice. I mean, I would want to sit on this couch, so that's the thing. And then we can maybe tweak the material a little bit. Like I can go into the material attributes, and I'll just increase decrease or increase the roughness a little bit, and the color maybe a little bit more, maybe like 0.35 on the roughness. And then the last thing I'll do is just select the sky dome light, and I'm just going to add an HDR for the background to reflect lights off of. So I'm just going to go somewhere that I have an HDR. So here I'm using the Video Copilot's backlight footages. So maybe I'll just add like an interior sort of a scene, maybe. I think I would go with this. Just open, and then you can see around, you know. So I'll just go hit the IPR again, so you can see the results here. So it's just gonna run, and now you can see that we're getting some really cool results here, you know. It's actually looking really nice, you know. But then for this footage, I've actually added 2 extra lights to be able to give it an extra sort of lighting. You can just if you want a different sort of direction, you can just rotate this to get different sides of this object. So that's basically the thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another, or just hit 7 on this and create a Arnold area light, and just move it up. Maybe I will go ahead and increase the exposure to see the effect in the scene. It's actually looking really good, you know. So I like this. Just move it here. I'll add one more, Control D, and just move it like here, and move this one up. So if I go to the Arnold, I'll just go back here and then go to Arnold and then IPR. So let's see here, see how it looks. It's okay. Maybe I can just decrease this light a little bit, maybe to like 2 or 3 maybe. And finally, I'm just going to get a final render of this. I'll go to the render settings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to Arnold, make this 4 and 3, and I'll get a full HD frame of this 1080. Then I'm going to go to film gate, resolution gate, or whatever, just frame this, and maybe change the color of the lights. Let's see how it looks. Maybe like blue, like dark blue, and then change this to red, maybe. Kind of give it a stylized look. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but just let's see here. So I'm just going to click on render, and I'll just wait maybe to like a few thousand years, and then we'll see when it is done. Alright, so the render is done. It took about like 2.5 minutes. I think the only problem we're having is here. You could just give him all sort of a uniform. You just copy this, don't scale it down, just fix it. And then probably the couch is getting cut off by the ground. We can just move this up a little bit, I would say. Yeah, so yeah, this is actually the real height of this. So the other thing I can do is I'll just, yeah, this is the render that we have done, and that's basically how you create a Chesterfield couch inside of Maya. So you can see that it's on this really big HDR environment which is reflecting. You can try them out, and as always, I hope you learned something from this and a good method to create these sort of couches and sofa models. I will be patiently waiting to see your results, so you can just comment your results below in the comment section. And speaking of comment section, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure to subscribe and comment what you want next. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll be doing a lot more Maya tutorials very soon. So stay tuned and stay updated with my channel. And as I always say, till next time, enjoy working.